Run, Forrest, run! Welcome to your Viking Rising weekly astrology report for May the 1st through May the 7th of 2022. I'm Eric Rosen. I looked at some astrology for you. I used my intuition. I tapped into this little weekly video for you to kind of like give you my unique perspective of insight of how I kind of see this week shaking up. So, I jokingly start the video off with the proverbial infamous Run, Forrest, Run from the movie Forrest Gump with Tom Hanks. And, Tom Hanks's character aside, focused more on the character of the movie. Tom Hanks in that movie, Forrest, he, started his life off with braces on his legs to where he couldn't really move forward fully. The legs in astrology are Sagittarius ruled. It's all about moving forward, making big strides in life. And there's almost been this feeling of jelly-like momentum, I think, for us a little bit. We've been in a lot of Taurus energy and a lot of Pisces energy. And so it's like trying to put the footing forward and move forward, but then also kind of like trying to find the flow and some old emotions, and just Jupiter, Neptune, Venus finally just left Pisces, is in Aries now. But with Jupiter also coming into Aries, I think this is where the shackles can kind of like break off the legs a little bit, and we can actually start to run forward and get out of some of this like old energy, this old man energy, those shackles that, I say shackles, that's how it's felt to us, but those things that he had on his legs, those braces, the way he had to walk was, similar to how an elderly person would have to walk. So this is about us like getting out of like some just old, overly serious like energy. Like his mom was like so serious about the whole thing, about his ailment, how he was treated and all this stuff. And it's like, do you think that she would have been that serious if she would have known that eventually those braces were going to break off and he was going to go live this amazing life experience and get to do all these things? Do you think she would have like freaked out so badly at how he was treated, those first few years of his life? So this is about us kind of like starting to get out of this old energy and realize like, oh, like maybe I didn't need to take things so seriously. Maybe I can start to like find a youthful step forward and, to set our intentions, like kind of genie rubbing the lamp a little bit, like as we go along in life, so that maybe we don't have to face some of the real harsh things that he did in that movie, like, going to war and shit like that. And so it's asking for the best outcomes, the smoothest outcomes in our life, as we're still going to have Neptune in Pisces. And so like we can still have a sense of grace and compassion for the challenges and the lessons that come up. And it can be difficult. It can still be a challenge to find this energy of like finding youth and finding playfulness and finding this new ability with these braces that come off to be like, oh wow, like I can run this direction, I can do this, I can do that, like I can follow my desires now. But we still have responsibilities. We've got our work and our projects and our family and our health and all these different things. But it's seeing those less as obstacles and more as like the pots like in a garden a little bit, like maybe that structure of that pot that holds that plant in the garden is better, because otherwise, some rabbits would try to come eat it. They were like kind of like last season rabbits, like your old parts of your life, your old intentions and things like that, to where maybe if everything that you had new laid out in your life that was fresh and it was spread out everywhere and it didn't have a container to it and you didn't have responsibilities, maybe, it could spread too thin to where it could get eaten up. And so this is about seeing and honoring and appreciating and having gratitude for the abundance of the blessings of what God has delivered. And that includes our responsibilities, that includes the ways that we make money, that includes the ways that we nourish ourselves, and to not create villainy with it, to not create right and wrong with it. Because there's this weird thing that happens sometimes when we worry about stuff or we give it bad energy or whatever, and then it like breaks or we lose it. So it's like we don't want to have a crack in the flower pot and to like lose the soil because we got upset and we feel like we're contending with our responsibilities as if it's like a detriment somehow to the things that we want to fly high in life. But it's realizing like it's more like a kite, the way that you wrap the string around the handle, and that the challenge and the responsibilities being the handle, and you're like wrapping the string to like give an anchor to the things that you want to fly high in your life. I know, it would be great if we could just sit in a cave or just, in our artist chamber, just whatever we would want to do if we could only do that one thing in life. But it's a little bit like this understanding that in order to really see the truth and this reality that we're in, there is just this honest truth of where we're at, of like, this is the modern day world, and this is having patience like for the changes that are happening in the world. And so it's also like seeing from a communication standpoint, as you look out into the challenges either in your life or even out in the world, to be less serious and kind of be like, oh, like, yeah, I don't, I would change this, let me just change this. Oh, it's like Bob Ross, like, let's just put some birds in the background and make it look prettier, and it's like, this isn't like ignore, like DEFCON red alert issues in your life and like, paint a fucking turd like it's a rose or whatever, but it's, also like, see, you like that, like seeing how there are opportunities to see where it doesn't have to be so serious, like the challenges and what we want to change, and be like, this has to change, like just almost like from a place of greed, or just trying to make the conviction based on what we think is like in it for us, like in the moment. And so it's coming from more this like gentle, this more pure space of like, what do you want to change about your life? Because the challenge is, right, it's like when we create the villainy, we create the negative charge, we're creating resistance to it. And so again, it can bust, it can break loose, it can, almost even give power to it. Think of like Little Shop of Horrors like type stuff, like that weird movie, like plants coming alive and like trying to eat humans and shit. We're talking like plants. This is Taurus season, so it's garden stuff. And it's like, don't turn anything that's in your garden in your life into like a man-eating plant, because you'll show up one day and it'll eat all your shit because you created too much villainy with it. You gave too much power away to it. So this is a lot about remembering to stand in your personal power too, and that, creating negative thoughts, force, just going against the grain of like what is not the way to like grow the best garden. Like, don't be the crazy fucking, again, old ass energy of like the rabbit in Winnie the Pooh, like getting all pissy and just like maintaining his garden in this like grandpa kind of way. This is like, again, it's stepping into youthful energy. It's taking strides forward, Forrest Gump style, and going and like living the wild life experience, and to not be afraid to go and do that. So that's the energy of this week. So I would capitalize on it. I think the biggest capitalization that I see, there's a lot that I've named here in this video, but I think the more that we come from a more clean, positive perspective, but it doesn't have to be like, again, like painting the turd like the rose, like making something positive that's not. It's more just like shining the positive light on situations. And then it's like, okay, like if this thing isn't useful anymore, like this plant that's in the garden, it's dead roots, we know we need to pull it out and let it go. We pull it, we do the healing work, we till the soil. There's a sense of like, okay, like, yes, we went through some losses, right? But it doesn't mean that there weren't, beautiful nuggets of like great things that came in that. And so even if that isn't manifesting in your life in such a way that you feel like that soil that, from something that died, like that root of that plant that you pulled, that nothing's going to grow in that spot, but that retilling and spreading of the soil out is going to accentuate the other creations in your life. So it's seeing it from that beautiful perspective. I love you all. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know. And yeah, have a great week.